What if Olympics was to be held in your country? I'm sure you'll be very proud and be extremely delighted. But what if I tell you that people in Tokyo were unhappy with the Olympics that took place in their country? And even in case of Rio Olympics 2016, thousands of localites protested against the government because of Olympics. And in 1976, the government of Denver was prevented from hosting Olympics because of pressure from its people. So you might be thinking that these people are bad nationalists, and trust me, even I did the same. But then I thought, why not to analyze their reason and then conclude whether their agitation is acceptable or not. Hello everyone, this is Tadasha Tripathi, and today I am going to talk about economics of Olympics. So by the end of this video, you will be able to analyze, is Olympics actually worth for the hosting countries? Does it bring prosperity to them or creates financial liabilities for them? So for this we need to do a detailed cost and benefit analysis. And when I talk about the cost of Olympics, so these are wholly incurred by the hosting countries. However, certain subsidies are also provided by the IOC, that is the International Olympic Committee. So these costs can be broadly categorized in two categories. The first one is the bidding process cost, and the second one is the preparatory expenses for the event. And when I talk about bidding process, it is not a small undertaking but a tedious task whereby the evaluation committee of IOC visits the applicant country to assess their present conditions, and accordingly the most appropriate applicant is awarded with the bid. So at this stage, the applicant country incurs various expenses to impress the evaluation committee, which includes the cost of financial estimation, architectural renderings, pre-event marketing, and other related costs. And once the applicant country is awarded with the bid, it turns out to be the host country, which further incurs expenses for preparation for the event and to accommodate huge wave of athletes and tourists visiting their country for the purpose of Olympics. As per the requirements of IOC, the hosting countries must have at least 40,000 hotel rooms available for the event and also some specialized sporting facilities. So the hosting country has to incur expenses for development of general infrastructures like the hotels and a wide network of transportation, and also for development of specialized sporting facilities like speed skating ovals, long cycling tracks, sky jumping arenas, and venues large enough to organize opening and closing ceremonies of Olympics at such a large scale. And apart from these, the operating cost is also required to be incurred, which is basically the cost of managing the event. So these, when aggregated, form a great deal of money for the hosting country. For example, in case of Rio Olympics 2016, the total cost was $13.1 billion, and also in case of Tokyo Olympics, the auditor of Japanese government has said that the total cost was $20 billion. So you all might be thinking that incurring huge expenses for such a mega event is not a big deal. The country will earn enough revenues which will surpass the cost, and ultimately the country will earn huge profits. So for that, let's analyze the revenues earned from the event. So revenue earned from the event basically includes the ticketing revenue, sale of television broadcasting rights, proceeds from significant sponsorships, and sports merchandise. But these revenues are never enough to cover the cost of such a mega event. So for example, in case of Rio Olympics, the total cost was $18 billion while the revenue earned was only $5 billion. And So any ordinary person of prudence would conclude that since the cost is high and revenue is low, Olympics not a profitable deal for the hosting countries. But then the economists favoring Olympics have made various claims that Olympics creates a long-term legacy impact in the hosting countries, providing the citizens a sense of civic pride, and also the benefits from development of infrastructures, and then boost in tourism sector and foreign direct investment and international trade being attracted to the hosting countries. However, these claims may be valid theoretically, but there are various practical instances where they have turned out to be vague. For example, if I talk about the boost in tourism sector, so yes, Olympics has helped Barcelona to raise its ranking from 13th position to 5th position in the list of most attractive tourist destination. But same was not true in case of Salt Lake City and London. And also, if I talk about the long-term benefits from development of infrastructures, so yes, I do agree that Olympics has helped in development of general infrastructures, but when it comes to specialized sporting facilities, so they are considered to be white elephants for the hosting countries because they have no post-Olympic utility yet huge maintenance liabilities. And also the foreign direct investments and international trades are attracted to the hosting countries, but since the countries are economically drained to such an extent that they often fail to grab the opportunity and capitalize it to the fullest. So basically we can say that yes, these claims can't be denied, yet they can't be guaranteed. The overall economic benefits are nullified, and usually the hosting countries end up with high fiscal debts, huge maintenance liabilities, and overrun cost, the burden of which is shifted to the normal taxpayers, and also the government expenditure on public welfare is curtailed to a large extent. So I guess now you get why the people were opposing the Olympics that was being held in their country. So because of these economic problems, countries stopped bidding for Olympics, and the situation worsened to such an extent that in 1979, Los Angeles was the sole bidder for Olympics 1984. But it created a history in the field of Olympics by running surplus from the event. And many economists saw it as an initiation of commercialization of Olympics. The surplus was possible only because Los Angeles already had the required infrastructures, but still it motivated the other countries to bid for Olympics, and especially the then developing countries like Russia, China and Brazil saw it as an opportunity to showcase their progress on such a global platform. But all these went in vain, and again the series of huge debts and high maintenance liabilities followed, and again the countries started withdrawing their bid for Olympics 2022, 2024 and 2028. So seeing all these, the economists demanded for reforms, and even IOC realized that these economic issues may dampen the sporting spirit of the world's most premier sporting event. So they addressed the same in their Olympic Agenda 2020, whereby they made various recommendations to reduce the cost of Olympics, which basically included reshaping the bidding process, inculcating sustainability at all aspects of Olympics, and most importantly, providing the hosting countries flexibility to use their existing sporting facilities facilities rather than incurring huge expenditures for development of specialized sporting facilities. And apart from these, also the economists suggested to have a permanent location for Olympic Games, or to alternatively designate 4 venues for Summer Olympics and 3 venues for Winter Olympics. So hopefully these recommendations turn into reality and suggestions of economists are worked upon, and Olympics, which glitters like a gold, ends up being a gold mine for the hosting countries. So this was all from my side on this topic. I hope you all liked the video, and if you liked the video, please like it and share it with your family and friends. And since it's my first long YouTube video, so do share your reviews and suggestions in the comment section, and please do subscribe my channel, because your subscription is my motivation. Thank you.